Some stories aren't told because they're too unbelievable, others because they're too dangerous. This isn't one of those viral horror tales with jump scares and fake blood. What you're about to hear is something much darker, something that actually happened. It's about control, obedience, and what goes on behind the walls of a mansion you've probably seen on TV. You've heard the whispers, the strange interviews, the breakdowns, the stars who suddenly vanish only to come back quieter, hollow. People laugh at the rumors, but they never ask why the rumors never stop. I didn't believe any of it either until I saw it. I was a butler, nothing more. Kept my head down, kept my mouth shut, until the day they cleared the entire house because Beyoncé's coming over. That was when I knew something was wrong. And instead of leaving, I did something worse. I stayed. I watched. Now it's your turn to carry it because I can't hold this alone anymore. I wasn't trying to work in the music industry. I wasn't chasing clout or trying to meet celebrities. I just needed a paycheck that came on time and didn't bounce. Before all this, I was a bartender at a hotel in Midtown. Decent tips, long hours, and guests who treated you like wallpaper. I'd been there 5 years, invisible. Then one day, this guy walks in, mid-40s, tailored coat, weirdly quiet, and watches me for a while as I'm helping a guest. When I finish, he walks over and slides a business card across the desk like it's a poker chip. "I've got someone looking for someone like you," he said. I flipped the card over. No name, just a number and a phrase printed in all caps. Discretion earns longevity. A week later, I was on a flight to LA to interview for a private service role. That's all they called it, private service. I didn't even know who the client was until I walked through the gate. The mansion didn't even have an address, just a long gravel driveway tucked between hedges taller than a bus. Inside, everything was spotless, quiet like a museum made for ghosts. Then I saw him. Sean Combs, Diddy, Brother Love, whatever name he was using that month. He didn't shake my hand, just gave me a once-over and nodded. Yeah, he'll do. That was it. I didn't even sign a contract with him directly. Everything was handled through an agency. Non-disclosure forms, a direct deposit account in the Caymans, and a flat rule book. No phones upstairs, no locked doors unless they're his, no talking unless spoken to. I told myself I didn't care. The money was stupid. I was getting $8,000 a month plus housing in the guest suite, meals, black car access, and bonuses every holiday. They told me I was there to keep the engine running, do the cleaning, manage deliveries, prep spaces before events, and just be around. That's the part that stuck with me. The guy who hired me, the one from the hotel, he pulled me aside before I started and said, "Diddy likes having men around. It makes him more comfortable, especially calm ones. You're not flashy." That's good. Don't be flashy. I didn't know what that meant. Still don't. Not really. But I learned fast how the house worked. No clocks, no windows in certain hallways, music playing in rooms that no one was in. Diddy didn't walk. He glided, like his shoes didn't touch the floor. Some days he'd say nothing, just walk past you like you were a lamp. Other days he'd stare, hold eye contact too long, then flash a grin like he was remembering a private joke. The first time Diddy ever spoke to me directly, it was so casual it almost didn't register. I was polishing the brass railing in the foyer. He was walking down the stairs in socks. No sound but the shuffle of cotton and the creak of expensive wood. I looked up just in time to see him staring at me, eyes locked. "Hey, what's up?" he said with this flat, unreadable smile. "Keep up the good work." Then he kept walking. No eye contact after that. Just disappeared into one of the back rooms. But then came the other moments, the ones that didn't make sense. There's this hallway on the second floor, long, no windows, lined with mirrors on both sides. One night around 1 a.m., I was checking the locks before heading in. I turned the corner into the hallway and nearly jumped. Diddy was just standing there, middle of the hallway in a black bathrobe, not moving, facing the mirror, watching himself. I froze, not wanting to interrupt, but I swear he wasn't looking at his face. He was staring into his own eyes like he was expecting them to blink first. Then, without turning, he said, "You ever watch yourself long enough that you start seeing someone else?" I didn't answer. He turned and walked away. Sometimes the house would hum, not from speakers, not from appliances. It was a low, almost wet frequency. You didn't hear it as much as you felt it in the base of your skull, in your teeth. One night, I walked into the kitchen and saw Diddy sitting at the table alone. No food, no drink, just staring at the microwave. The hum was strong in that room. I opened my mouth to ask if he needed anything, but before I could speak, he said, "It's not the house that makes that sound. It's the part underneath." Then he grinned. Not at me, just into the room. I told myself I was being dramatic, that rich people get weird when they have too much time and too many yes men. But every little moment stacked on top of the last. And I couldn't shake the feeling that he was watching me. Not in the room, not even through cameras like he already knew where I'd be. It started on a break mid-shift, late afternoon. I just finished organizing the third-floor linen closet. One of those chores that sounds small until you realize Diddy has more sheets than some hotels. My legs were killing me and I ducked into the back patio for 10 minutes of quiet. No music, no movement, just sun on brick. I pulled out my phone, started scrolling. First it was the usual. News, memes, group chats I barely checked anymore. Then by algorithm or fate, it came up. A clip. Diddy and Beyoncé sitting side by side at some industry event. Beyoncé must have been younger in this one. Maybe early in her solo career. Hair perfectly styled, face glowing, but something in her eyes looked distant. Diddy had his arm around her shoulders. They were laughing about something. The way you'd laugh with a mentor or someone you were trying to make feel safe. But something in me recoiled. I couldn't explain it. Still can't. It wasn't what they said. It was how Diddy looked at her, like he was looking through her, past the smile, down into something smaller, something he thought he owned. I kept scrolling. Another clip. Diddy presenting Beyoncé with an award. Another. Diddy saying Beyoncé was like family. That they used to spend time at the crib, working on music, vibing. The comments were all praise. Diddy always supports the queens. Father figure energy. Icon recognizing icon. But to me, it didn't feel right. Why was a grown man, rich, powerful, surrounded by adults, spending that much time behind closed doors with her? Why were there so many clips of them together in private settings? Why did no one else seem bothered? I locked my phone and shoved it back in my pocket. That sinking feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. It was like watching someone smile right before a car crash. Your brain can't explain it, but your body knows it's coming. Later that week, the house changed. Security started hovering more than usual. Rooms that were normally silent buzzed with coded walkie-talkie chatter. Diddy stopped leaving the property altogether. Everything felt tense, like something was being cleaned up or prepared. Then one of the guards walked into the main lounge where I was dusting and said flatly, "You need to clear out now." I blinked. Why? Is something wrong? Diddy's bringing Beyoncé over. That's when everything clicked. The gut feeling, the videos, the way he stared at that microwave humming like it was singing to him. All of it came rushing back. I didn't leave. I told the guard I was heading out, then slipped into the hallway that ran parallel to the main living room, the one with the crawlspace access panel hidden behind a false cabinet door. I'd used it before when electricians came in. It connected through the walls to 3 rooms: the study, the theater, and the guest performance space. I wedged myself inside, phone in hand, heart punching against my ribs. I needed proof. Whatever was going on between them, I had to see it for myself. 10 minutes passed. Then I heard voices. Diddy's was smooth, casual. "All you got to do today is show me what you got." A beat of silence. Then Beyoncé's voice, quieter than I remembered, almost uncertain. "What do you mean?" Diddy laughed. "Nah, I meant I got to see you perform." That word, perform, felt like a blade sliding into my spine. This wasn't a meeting. This was a test. And I was the only one watching from the dark, knowing something no one else dared say out loud. That woman wasn't safe. The wall space I hid in wasn't built for comfort. Just wires and wooden slats, sharp nails sticking out like teeth. I crouched there with my head tilted toward the sliver of light spilling through the crack in the closet door. From where I was, I could see the edge of a room I'd never known existed. A hidden space inside the house, not on the blueprints, not part of the tour I was given. The floor was dark stone, a single velvet chair in the center, lights overhead, not normal lighting, but soft, amber stage lights. Someone had turned this into a performance room, one with no audience except for one man. Diddy walked in first. He moved slowly, hands clasped behind his back, wearing all black. Behind him, Beyoncé followed, hesitant, eyes flicking across the room like she was still figuring out if this was a prank or a test. Diddy turned and smiled. "All right," he said, clapping once. "I want to see you perform." Beyoncé looked confused but nodded. She cleared her throat and started to sing softly. Something acoustic, something sweet. But Diddy cut her off with a wave of his hand. "Nah," he said, voice dipping. "I don't want to hear you sing. I want to see you perform." The silence that followed stretched out like a thread about to snap. "Be your authentic self," Diddy added. "Don't hold back. Whatever comes from your heart, that's what I want to see." Beyoncé just stood there, frozen. From my hiding place, I felt every second drag against my skin like sandpaper. Something about Diddy's tone had changed. There was no mentorship in it now. No warmth, just hunger wrapped in patience. Beyoncé shifted on her feet. "Like, dance?" "Whatever you feel," Diddy said. "Let it out. Right here, this moment. It's just you and me. This is where stars are made." The room went quiet again. And then Beyoncé moved. I won't describe what she did. I can't. I won't. All I know is it wasn't music. It wasn't art. It was survival. Her body did what it had to do. Her face tried to stay neutral, but her eyes were screaming. And Diddy just watched, leaned forward like a judge at the edge of a sick talent show. There was a red light glowing faintly on a camera tucked behind the chair. He was recording it. Why? Why did he need footage of this? Who was it for? Who else would ever see it? I don't know how long it lasted. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been 2 hours. My body gave out at some point. I slid down into a crouch, hands over my ears, eyes squeezed shut. But I still heard the words. Diddy's voice. "You always going to remember this moment. You always going to remember me." And Beyoncé. She laughed, but it wasn't real. Not even close. It was this hollow, breathless sound the kind people make when their brains start splitting from their body. A laugh to cover a scream, and I could hear it shake. When I finally moved, my body didn't feel like mine. My knees popped as I tried to stand. My hands were still trembling, fingertips cold and slick with sweat. I crawled backward through the narrow crawl space like an animal, scraping my back against wires and wood, trying to breathe through my nose so I wouldn't throw up. I needed out. I didn't care about my job anymore. I didn't care about the NDA, the money, the safety of silence. That performance, whatever the hell it was, had shattered something in me. It wasn't just what I saw. It was what I felt, like I'd watched something sacred die. I made my way through the wall corridor, exited through the hidden cabinet, and ducked into the side hallway. The front door was only 30 feet away. I could see the faint sunlight bleeding in through the stained glass, but as I stepped out into the main foyer, he was there. Diddy, standing in front of the door like he'd been waiting, still in black, still calm, and smiling. Not his usual fake smile for the camera's grin. This one was slow, stretched. His lips curled just enough to show the top row of teeth, like he was tasting something sweet. My heart kicked against my chest like it was trying to climb out. "Did you like the performance?" he asked, tilting his head. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My throat was dry. My hands were open at my sides, not in defense, just frozen. And then I saw the thing next to him. At first, I thought it was just another guard, maybe a tall bodyguard in the shadows. But as my eyes adjusted, I realized something was wrong with the shape. It was too tall. Its shoulders were hunched like it didn't know how to wear its own skin, and the way its hand rested on Diddy's shoulder, not gripping, not protective, possessing. It was pitch black, not just in color, like it was absorbing the light around it. No face, just a smooth, featureless shadow where a head should have been. But somehow I knew it was looking at me. I stumbled backward. "You ain't got to run," Diddy said, still smiling. "You work here. You're part of the house." The thing behind him didn't speak, didn't move, but I swear to God I felt it breathing. Not air, but something else, like heat off an open furnace, like hunger. That's when I broke. I turned and ran. I don't even remember opening the front door. I don't remember the stairs or the path. All I remember is gravel crunching under my shoes and my own heartbeat pounding in my ears like a war drum. I didn't stop until I saw the security SUV parked behind the garage. Engine still warm, keys still in the ignition. Someone had left it idling. I didn't think. I jumped in, slammed the door, threw it in drive, and peeled out down the private road so fast the tires screamed. I didn't care if I got caught. I didn't care if there were cameras. All I wanted was distance. But even as the mansion faded behind me in the mirror, that smile stayed in my head. And that thing, whatever it was, whoever it was, had looked right through me, like it already knew where I was going next.